Hello and welcome to Friends That Invest. You're joined today by your host Sim. I'm a financial author and investor, and I'm here to talk about all things investing and personal finance. Today's episode is one that I'm so excited to chat about because how much money do you think that you are wasting away by being a people pleaser? Maybe $100, maybe $1,000. Well, according to my calculations, it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you invested that kind of money, that could be millions of dollars over a lifetime. And if you have to use the financial numbers to say, maybe I shouldn't be a people pleaser, then I have done my job by the end of this episode. So let me tell you exactly where you are allowing yourself to be walked all over, which you probably know, by people pleasing. But more importantly, what you can do to kind of stand up straight, have a spine again, and save yourself a lot of money in the long run. Now, there's two sections to this episode. The first is people pleasing at work, and then it's people pleasing at home. People pleasing at work broadly includes things that are going to stop you from increasing your income, whereas people pleasing at home ends up broadly impacting your expenses. When you're people pleasing at work, you reduce your earning potential, your income drops. And when you're people pleasing at home or with your family, your expenditure goes up. So not only are you earning less, you are also spending more. And what have I always said about like the best way to grow your wealth? Spend less than you earn and invest the difference. But as a people pleaser, you are spending more money and earning less, and you are not going to reach your financial freedom number or reach financial goals that you have if you are continuing to play the award for the nice girl. So first mistake that people pleasers make in the workforce that is impacting their ability to earn more is taking on other people's work. Put your hand up if you are someone that chronically says, oh, I'll do it. I'll take it. No, I'm more than happy to, when a manager or someone that is senior to you gives you something to do. And honestly, like I said, deep down within me, I'm a farm dog. Like I love work. I love, love, love work. And so I remember when I was working my 9-to-5 job, if someone had like an extra patient or an extra workload or like things that they had to submit, I would always put my hand up to do it. And even like when I was younger, and there was just like little admin tasks to do in my retail jobs or my job when I worked at a petrol station. Like I was always happy to do it because you grow up being told, especially if you come from a South Asian background or, and broadly speaking, like an Asian background, you get told that if you work hard and you say yes and you're just like a yes woman, that you will get ahead because people recognize hard work. The first lie I got told growing up, because at the end of the day, your colleagues they're not going back to like their desk and going, wow, Sim's like a really good person. Like, no, they're like, oh my God, okay, good to know. Sim can handle it. The next time I have more work, I'll just give it to Sim. And how many times have you found that you are rewarded with more piles of work if you get work done efficiently? And by the way, this isn't like more piles of work with like a salary bump. This is like, oh, like Sim's just really efficient. Let's just give him more of it and more of it and more of it. And the more you take on favors of doing other people's work, which like, you know, with a caveat, you're not going to be like an asshole that's like, sorry, Sim said that I cannot do this. So like, thank you for this extra bit of work to do, but I'm going to politely hand that back. Like there's a give and take. Sometimes you help a friend out, you help a colleague out. Sometimes they help you. Like I'm not saying that we're going to stop helping people, but you and I know that you're probably in a not so good position if you are taking on other people's work to the detriment of your own work, when you are not getting things that you need to get done fast enough because you've taken on someone else's task. And a really good reframe or like phrase to use when that comes up is, hey, thank you so much. Now, there are a few other things on my list of priorities that you have given me. Is there anything you want me to deprioritize to take this on? Or are you happy for me to get it back to you in like, 2 weeks time? And that way you're giving that person a chance to understand like, hey, I am happy to help, but I have to deprioritize something to prioritize your work. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing everyone else's work for them, and by the way, they're not saying, oh yeah, Sim did this for me, she was really helpful. They're saying, oh yeah, I achieved it. they're going to go and get the pay rise, they're going to go and get the promotion, and you are still stuck here being like the nice girl in the office. And what is that book called? Nice Girls Never Get the Corner Office. Pretty sure that's the title, somewhere in my room. Now, the second way that being a people pleaser impacts your finances at work is if you are too scared to stand up for yourself, then you are going to be walked all over, and that is going to impact your salary potential. If you think, oh, okay, like so-and-so has taken credit for my work, but I don't want to be annoying about it. Like, it's fine. I'll let it go. Or so-and-so is totally sucking up to my manager, and I don't think what they're doing is okay, because actually while they're sucking up to the manager, they've also like not achieved X, Y, Z, but I don't want to stir the pot. I don't want to cause any drama. I don't want to cause any problems. Cause the problems. Cause the problems. Stand up for yourself, especially if what someone's doing is making you look bad. Be the one that stands up to it. Now, again, caveat, we're not going to run in and be like, this is unfair. This is unfair and I deserve better, because unfortunately we still live in a society where if a woman complains about something, she is seen as emotional. She is seen as like dysregulated. She is seen as like, damn, is it like that time of the month for Sim again? But we're going to be tactful in it. We're going to send it as an email. We're going to make sure there is a paper trail. We're going to remove any emotion from it. We're going to put it through ChatGPT and be like, hey, does this sound professional and logical and like straight to the point? But if there is something that is happening in your workplace that is unjust and makes you look like you are not doing your work, or that you are lazy, or that you are cutting corners, do not let other people push you around like that. Stand up for yourself. Have someone in your team, usually your direct line manager is the most understanding, or like someone similar to them that was like, look, no, Sim, I understand you're totally not like this. Let me back you and support you. Because the more you do that, the more your like backbone grows and you realize it's not the end of the world. And even if you go through with it and it doesn't turn out in the way that you want, or like the final outcome is not that person that annoys you getting fired, it's not a very just or fair like system of like, if I complain about this, then that gets like actioned. But at least you know you stood up for yourself, and at least everyone else in the office or the workplace or the ward or wherever it is that you work, at least they also know that like you are not someone to mess around with. And you feel good every time you stand up for yourself, because it kind of feels like the vertebrae, like all the like little bones in your backbone are like solidifying and getting stronger, and you're like standing up straight, and you walk into the office just like not slouching anymore. You sit up at your desk and your like back is as straight as like a rod, because you know that no one can mess with you, because you will talk back. And the third and final way that people pleasers reduce their income potential, and this is definitely more for those that maybe are able to set their own rates, whether they're a freelancer or they have their own business, or they're like a locum doctor or a locum optometrist. You need to stop underselling yourself in fear that people may question or judge if you are worth that much. Let them question it. Let them judge it, but let the market decide what you're worth. Don't undersell yourself. I have been so guilty of this for so many years, where I would be like, I'm too scared to charge like anything that I like couldn't afford. But the truth is, if you think, oh my God, like, well, if I had a company, I wouldn't pay, $1,000 for a sponsored piece of content. Like, that's just way too much money. Doesn't mean a company won't pay that. Like, why be the one that undersells yourself? Give them the $1,000 price tag, and you'll be surprised most of the time. They'll be like, yeah, we'd love to work with you. And that's when you go, it probably should have been $2,000, because they've said yes so quickly. Don't undersell yourself if you are doing even the smallest of tasks. Like if you are like a young person and you're starting to babysit, don't feel like you have to be like, yeah, I'll do it for like $10 an hour. Like, what is that going to get you? That's under minimum wage. Increase your own self-worth and increase how much you think your time and your services is worth. And don't base it on how long it takes you to do a task. Base it on all the wealth of knowledge that you have accumulated over the last 5, 10, 20 years. That is the reason why you can do something so efficiently now, And that's where the price comes from. It is not based on the time it takes you. It is based on your expertise and your experience and all the lessons that you have learned to get you to where you are here. Like, I cannot stress the amount of times, I don't do this every time, so don't expect this, but there have been a number of times where I have worked with someone through Friends That Invest from like, hey, graphic designer, can you do XYZ? And they'll be like, yep, sure, I can totally do it. I'll charge you $1,000. And more than once, I've been like, actually, this work is probably worth like $2,000. So I'm going to actually increase your rate and pay you more just so that you know that the next time you quote someone, that should be the rate that you quote, because this is like daylight robbery for you. I've worked with you before. I know your work. It is definitely worth more than that. And look, I don't do this often. Like, if I'm working with you, don't be like, Sim, it's $5,000 and I assume you're going to like double it and give me 10. Those days are probably not as often as I'd like them to be. But if you undersell yourself, I am not scared as a business owner and as a human being to tell you, hey, I think you should charge more. I'm happy to take, your rate, but I think it should be a little bit more than this. Like, woman to woman, why are you underselling yourself? You have a family to feed. You have a mortgage. You have expenses too. Do not undersell yourself for like what? To be like liked more? Like, never in my life have I been like, I really liked working with so-and-so. I really liked her because she chose to keep her prices low to make sure I didn't get upset. Like, that doesn't happen. As long as you offer a good service or a good product, then the person on the other end will pay for it, and they will pay whatever price it is if they see value in what you do. But do not be the reason that you undersell yourself before they even get a chance to tell you if they like your product or not. And if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, Sim, I hear you, but like, I don't really get to set my own rates. Like, I work a 9 to 5. That is literally the definition of your 9 to 5. Every time you have a moment where you are in negotiation, where you are in a pay review, that is a chance for you to negotiate your rates. And if it's not financially, it is the amount of time you get off, the ability to work from home, the market rate of which your job should be paid at versus how much you are being paid. Do not undersell yourself. I promise you, hand on heart, as someone that also is an employer, employers never get mad if someone asks for more money. Like, if someone came to me and was like, Sim, I want X amount more, I'm never going to be like, how dare they? Like, how dare they ask for more? You're going to ask for more. Your employer will like maybe meet you in the middle or be like, oh, well, we can do this much. And then you'll negotiate it. But never, unless you work for like a horrible person, in which case you should probably leave. But never will someone that employs you think, that's a bit much. Like, especially if you're a woman, you're still probably not asking for as much, even when you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to ask for like 20,000 more or 10,000 more. Like, that's just way too much. I promise you, deep breath, it is not. If you know your value, then do not people please in your negotiations of your salary. That is like the one time that you're meant to be really up yourself. You're meant to really back yourself. And you are the kind of person that is just meant to be like, this is what I bring to the table. This is how I help your company. This is how I will help the company further. And this is why I am indispensable and you need me. Like, that is at least the one time where you shouldn't people please. Like, if you can take anything away from this episode, do not people please in your negotiation of your salary. So those are all the ways that people pleasing impacts your income. Because if you are taking on other people's work, if you are too scared to stand up for yourself, if you are underselling yourself, these 3 ways completely impact the amount of money that you can make. And if you are missing out on like a 5 or 10K salary bump every single year, that adds up pretty fast. And if that money could have been invested, suddenly that's, like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of money that you are people pleasing away. But increasing your salary is not the only way that people pleasing is a problem. People pleasing in your home life, whether it's with your friends, your family, or just people in your home sometimes, your relatives, your family, that can become an issue too, but not in terms of income, rather people pleasing with expenses. So the first thing that comes up is what I like to call spending leaks. Spending leaks is something that people pleasers do where, oh my God, we've all been there. It gets a little bit awkward. You've had dinner. Like no one's going to pay and the server is there and you're like, oh my God, let me just pay. And you just tap your card and you're like, guys, I've got it. And you save the awkward moment by just being the person that pays. And yes, in nuanced situations, sometimes you should be the person that pays. I remember when I was the only friend that had a job and all my friends were still university students because they were student doctors and they had years and years and years to study. I'm the only one making a salary. They're still students. Of course I'm going to pay. Or if you're hanging out with friends and there's definitely a financial discrepancy, then yeah, I'll pay. So if it's you and me and a coffee, I've got it. I'm not going to be let's 50-50 this. But if you're out with a big group of people and you're at a dinner, there is absolutely no reason why you should be the person that covers it because you're too scared to say otherwise. And so these small little spending leaks, you think, well, what's one dinner? What's one lunch? What's one birthday gift? And so over time, it all adds up and you are just spending more because you're too scared to say, actually, no, actually, I don't want to do that. Actually, let's split the bill. I didn't have any drinks. So can I just pay for my own food? And I mean, I still do this. The other day, I'm sorry to my friend that's listening if she's listening to this. The other day, I went out for lunch with some friends and there was a $30 set lunch meal. And I was like, that's all I want. So I paid for it. And then the other people on the table ordered more food. And when we went to pay, the server was like, should we split it 3 ways? And splitting 3 ways, the cost of everything added up was $58. Which is more than my $30. The people pleaser in me just came out and I was like, yeah, sure. Let's just split it 3 ways. And my friend was like, are you sure? You did only pay for a $30 meal. And I was like, no, it's fine. I didn't want to cause an issue. And even though it's not a financial burden to pay a little bit more, I am a lot more blessed than I've been since I was a lot younger. It's still the principle of people pleasing for the sake of just not making anyone uncomfortable. But also, who would be uncomfortable if I was I paid $30 for lunch, so I only want to pay $30 for lunch. It's not as big of a deal. And whilst my friends have probably forgotten about it, I was talking about it on a podcast. So clearly it affected me more than it would have affected anyone else. The second type of people pleasing at home that so many people pleasers do, and I have a few in mind that I can think of as I say this, is people pleasing when it comes to lending money. How many times have you given someone some money as a people pleaser because they've called you up and they've gone, hey, I really need this. And you go, yeah, of course. And then the drama that follows afterwards where they don't pay you back or they pay you back slowly over months or even a year, and it causes strain in the friendship. I have seen this happen amongst other friends to the point where I have just made a blanket rule that if I'm giving you money, it is a gift and I have no expectation of you giving it back to me, because the likelihood of you paying me back is just so low. And sometimes it has been really hard to actually just outrightly say no when someone's been like, hey, can you please give me a little bit of cash? I need some right now. Again, nuanced circumstances. I look at all the factors of does this person actually need money from me right now? Or will they be okay in their next pay cycle? I know that they have a really, really, really good job. They're maybe just a little bit tight. And they also have family money that they totally could go ask their parents for. I don't think I'm going to give them that cash right now. That is hard to do. And as a people pleaser, you feel bad for saying no. But if every single time someone asks you for money and you give it away, you are just continuing a cycle where that person is going to rely on you. Not always. Sometimes it is truly just a one-off and it never happens again. But you will continue to be seen as that really friendly or really helpful person. And when word gets out across your friends and family that hey, Sim is a giver, she suddenly becomes a mini bank or a mini lending machine. And the truth is, it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for them. And as a people pleaser, you might feel like you don't want to do it, but you do it out of people pleasing. But that is not a nice way to live your life. And if anything, resentment will build. I have seen it amongst friends where one friend gives the other friend some money. The friend that takes the money then takes ages to pay the first friend back. And then she's out living her best life on Instagram. And the first friend is like, how did she buy those new shoes? She still owes me $800. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, you shouldn't have given it to her in the first place, but I digress. And so it is so important to not let people-pleasing tendencies impact the way that you deal with your friends and family. But there is still one more way where people-pleasing comes in the friends and family dynamic. And this isn't as common, but it's probably the most scariest, where people engage in people-pleasing because they are scared to say no to a financial advisor or a bank manager or a partner when they are looking at things like buying a home or investing a lot of money or getting an insurance policy. Sometimes we meet financial professionals and they will recommend their products and services. And even though they have most of the time our best interest at heart, they also have their own incentives at heart. A bank will always, always, always offer you the maximum mortgage that you can take out. And if they say, hey, Sim, you can take out $1 million mortgage, you can, but should you? Probably not. That's going to be a very high thing to pay back over time. Yes, a financial advisor might say, hey, I think you should go with this risky asset class. And I've had fee-based financial advisors share asset classes that they think I should buy into. And I'm like, hey, I just don't feel like I want to do that. And the people pleaser in me has been like, should I just do it because it's just getting awkward? I'm like, no, this is my money and I am paying a service and I am allowed to say, hey, can you explain that again? Hey, that doesn't make sense. Hey, what do you mean by that? And no one should be getting mad at me for me asking questions. No one should be getting mad at me for me questioning something on a contract. No one should be getting mad at me if I am trying to invest money or give you money and I have some questions about where that money goes or how it's being spent or what something means. And it is probably one of my favorite skill sets that I have learned, where if I'm in a room and it's a fancy lawyer in a suit or a fancy accountant or a fancy this or that, if they say something that I don't understand, I'm not scared anymore to be like, hey, excuse me, can you explain that again? Or I'm a very visual learner, so I'll be like, hey, can you draw this out for me? And they, most of the time, are very kind and will draw out what they're trying to explain. I'm like, okay, so this is how the trust structure works. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, this is how the business, okay, this makes sense. If you are doing anything in your life where you don't understand what someone is saying to you and it involves your money, do not be a people pleaser and forget to ask or choose not to ask, because at the end of the day, it will just end up costing you more in the long run. And so if you have spending leaks, or if you are giving money away to friends and family, or you are going with investments or financial advice that maybe you don't agree with, but you're just too scared to say anything else, you are increasing your overall expenses for what? Not because you want to, not because it's a good choice, but because you're too scared. You're too scared to say no. When you say it out loud, why am I too scared to say no? Why can't I just be like, hey, I don't want to give you money? It's not that big of a deal. Hey, I don't want to pay for the meal when I didn't eat it. It's not that big of a deal. But as people pleasers, we just get so scared. And so if you're too scared to increase your rates, you're too scared to say no on spending money, you just end up hurting no one else but yourself. And I promise you, the people at work, they're not thinking about it. The people at home, they're not thinking about it. It doesn't impact them. It's probably better for them. They get a free meal when they hang out with you. The people at work get free work done when they hang out with you. And you're doing more, you're earning less, you're spending more, you're enjoying less. People pleasing is not a good financial move. And it's also just not good for the soul. And so I hope you have found this video helpful. If you have, please, please, please take a screenshot, put it on your Instagram story, tag friends that invest. It helps us grow the podcast so much, because more people that find us, listen to us, and what more can we ask for than a world where more women learn to not be people pleasers and to learn financial literacy? And so with that, I'll see you next week.